zombie apocalypse.
What is up, guys? It is Kenniron here with my review of the second Spider-Man movie. A few weeks ago I did the first one, so it's only fitting that I continue to do the rest. I am out of school, but that doesn't mean that I'm not still busy. Hopefully I can record a few videos in advance, but I doubt that'll happen. But I'll just figure it out as I go along. Tangent aside, let's begin to look into the second Spider-Man movie, properly titled Spider-Man 2. The story feels a lot simpler than the first one. Essentially, Dr. Otto Octavius is trying to create a small sun to provide renewable energy for the world and become successful, wealthy, renowned, and all that good jazz. He uses mechanical arms to go in and control the sun, or I don't know if you'd call it controlling the sun, but whatever. Because it's too hot for bare hands to touch. I mean, makes sense. That's the whole reason behind his extra limbs, and the project fails. He has to rob a bank to get money to continue it and hopefully succeed the next time around. And then he has to bring Spider-Man to Harry to get the tritium he needs. Whoop-de-doo. This whole time, Peter is finding it hard to balance his normal life and his life as Spider-Man. He can't keep a job, he's failing in all of his classes, that kind of stuff. He kinda wishes he never became Spider-Man, and his powers fail him, so he just strolls around the city as a normal person. But Doc Ock kidnaps MJ to convince Peter to find Spider-Man. Do you see the quotations I'm making with my claw hands? It means I don't believe you. Lego movie. The rest is just Harry finding out he's Spider-Man, Mary Jane finding out he's Spider-Man, Otto finding out he's Spider-Man, Aunt May not finding out he's Spider-Man. Okay, I'll stop. Wait. I got one more. An entire train full of people finding out he's Spider-Man. The secret's out, Peter. Just hold a press meeting like Tony did in Iron Man. Wait. Wrong universe. My bad. Anyway, a fight breaks out between Octavius and Peter, which ends with Doc Ock realizing he was wrong all along and sinking the small, self-sustaining sun along with himself to the bottom of the Hudson River. Hey, at least this time he, didn't die for nothing. Or maybe he did die for nothing. I mean, heck, he could have lived, I guess. But oh no, Octavius had a son whom he didn't love, who wants revenge on Spider-Man for no dang reason. Yeah, I'm talking about Harry, in case you didn't realize. Peter and Mary Jane basically fall in love without ever actually saying so, and Harry finds the room containing all the goblin gadgets hidden behind the mirror. The end. Although, goblin gadgets, that does sound like a pretty snazzy assembly of patented ideas. I gotta make this. That's it. I quit YouTube. I'm off to go make goblin gadgets now. Goodbye. Enough being stupid. The story may be simpler than the first, but simple doesn't mean bad. A lot of times, simple is good. Batman vs. Superman should take note of this. While I say simple is good, it isn't exactly detailed enough to be quite as engaging as the first one. Overall, though, the story is defined very well. Nothing is left out, nothing obscure is put in, and it all works nicely. On to character development. A lot of the development is just trying to strengthen what was already established in the first movie. The biggest thing being MJ and Peter's complicated love for each other and Harry's hatred for Spider-Man, which turns into hatred and confusion towards Peter. We never really get to see the Harry's rage and... Sorry, that's a typo. The Harry. The Hulk donated his blood to Oscorp, and that was what was in the Goblin Serum. It created the Harry. Wait, holy crap. I mean, I could see it. Forget Goblin gadgets, I'm going to be a story writer for Marvel. Like, There's a lot more money in that and a lot less risk. Holy crap. Anyway, we don't get to see the Harry's rage in the first one like we do in this one, but sometimes he does come off as being a bit whiny. Kind of reminds me of Anakin from the prequel trilogy in Star Wars. And I don't know, that just doesn't sit too well with me. MJ is still a hoe, as she tries to get Peter to admit her love, his love. Okay, he's not a hermaphrodite. But anyway, she tries to get Peter to admit his love for her, and she herself admits that she's dating someone else. That's not how it works, MJ. But then it gets worse. Okay, it gets worse because on her wedding day, she leaves the wedding to go to Peter's apartment and live happily ever after in a dump. Like, have you seen his apartment? It's terrible. It is a dump. It is crap. And she wants to live happily ever after with crap, then instead of living with some amazing, like, muscular astronaut. That's stupid. That's just stupid. But the big cojones would have to be Doc Ock himself. He's a new character, so a lot of the focus has to go to him. The change within himself is brought out nicely through strong acting and writing. He goes from a happy, logical scientist to a more distraught, illogically driven madman. He doesn't exactly have time to deal with the grief of his wife's death, but at the same time, you can tell he's coping with it through his work. It's neat to see the down-to-earth scientist's inner demons come to life and how sinister of a person he can really be. Although, I did think he turned to the dark side just a little too quickly. I mean, he should have the mental capacity to resist the temptations of the arms a bit more. But the ending makes you connect with him on a very realistic level, and that's not seen in too many movies, especially when you're talking about a villain. Another fun thing to mention is the character that is the arms themselves. His collaboration between the arms plays out pretty well on screen. They have their own evil agenda to attend to, whether Otto is with them or not. And the hospital scene where they first, move on their own really shows that. It doesn't make sense, however, that the arms would just immediately listen to his every command and, well, not try to take over the world or some bull crap like that. I mean, they are artificial intelligence after all. The action really tries to key in on elements that could only exist in Spider-Man fights. A lot of the fighting is done in places where normal people couldn't really go. Like the fights on the sides of the buildings and the fight on top of the train, for instance. I felt that this also, excuse me, I felt that this also limited their movements as characters, though, because, well, both would probably be more useful on the ground. I mean, that's where Spidey's used to fighting most of the time. I mean, sure, he can jump, he can swing, and he can do all that stuff, but, I mean, Mr. Tentacle Porn, man, is certainly a better fighter when he can stand on the ground and use all of his arms to fight instead of having to use them to stand on the side of a building. But I guess I'm being a bit cynical. It was nice to see the movie bring a bigger superhero aspect to all of the action. Speaking of being cynical, there is a gigantic problem in the story that no one ever seems to address. Like, why? Why does Mr. Hentai feel the need to continue his project? As soon as he breaks the law, he's going to be a wanted man. No matter if he succeeds or not, the law's going to be after him. Heck, even with the experiment failing, he should be tried with the accidental murder of his wife. It makes no sense. He claims he wants to be better, he claims he wants to better mankind, but he throws people off of a moving train and takes people hostage. He needs to get his morals straight is what he needs to do. Not only that, but Harry tells him not to hurt Peter. So why, in the HE double hockey sticks does he proceed to throw a frickin' car through the window at him from behind with no possible way of knowing if he would dodge it. It's possibly the dumbest way to get information out of someone I have ever seen.
Tell me what I want to know before I throw a frickin' car at you! Fine. If I can't pick up a car, I'll just pick up your girl.
The amount of similarity between this one and the first one is also really annoying. The scenery is all the same, with the usual shots of the city, the burning building, and even the abandoned building for the final fight. It goes even deeper than that, though, with the villain being an even worse father figure. He screws with Aunt May. Not like that. Not like that! Anyway, so yeah, he does something to Aunt May, puts her life in danger, whatever, and then he kidnaps Mary Jane at the end. Even the fact that he kills himself. I mean, sure, he was trying to do a last good deed, unlike Norman, but the fact still stands that a lot of it is copied from the first movie. And to be honest, the first one had an overall better story. Although, I will say that this one has better action. Still, let's continue on to the verdict. You guys may hate me and think, oh, I should judge the movie for what it is and not compare it to the first one, and, well, you're not entirely wrong. Because you do need to look at it as its own separate thing first. But it is a sequel, and any sequel should be judged in comparison to the ones before it because they're all interconnected. If you have one great movie, and then the sequel turns out to be almost exactly like the original, with little new content, people are going to complain about repetition. The same old stuff gets boring. So, with all that in mind, I'm going to tell you what I'd give Spider-Man 2. So, from the bottom of my non-existent, ice-cold heart, I'd give Spider-Man 2 a 7.2 out of 10. The movie itself is really good, don't get me wrong there, but a lot of it does feel like a repeat of the first one. It feels like stuff we've already seen. It feels like everything that's in this movie, besides the actual, fight scenes, has been done before. And due to that, it really doesn't have much rewatch value to me. I'd get more enjoyment out of just watching the first one again. So that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. What would you have rated this movie? I understand it's a lot of people's favorite Spider-Man movie, so would you have given it a higher rating, or hey, maybe you're even more cynical than I am and would have rated it lower? Let me know your thoughts down below, and as always, I hope you enjoyed, and Kenniron out.